Hey there, and welcome back. So last time we took a look at the very basic top-level skeleton structure of your typical HTML document. And today, we're going to take a closer look at some of the stuff that you can do with the head tag, where all of the unseen information for your web page is going to live. We've already covered the one tag that has to be nested in there for your HTML document to function, the title tag. So we'll start with that one real quick. The title tag is where you write the title for your web page. This title will appear on the top bar of a person's web browser and will be displayed in search engines, so having something meaningful and snappy is probably a good idea for this. There are several other tags that you can use in the head tag to feed more important metadata into search engines. You don't strictly need these, but they are very helpful, especially for folks who might be using older or alternative browsers. These tags typically don't have an opening and closing version. Rather, you write the tag and then you put the relevant information in the tag itself as attributes. Again, for most of them. The attributes that you can use include style, base, link, meta, script, and no script. Style is what you use for entering CSS in the same document as your HTML, and link is primarily used to link external documents, usually a CSS document, to your HTML document. While these are pretty important to understand, they won't really become relevant until we start talking about CSS, which won't be happening for a while, so you can safely ignore those for now. Script and no script, similarly, won't really be covered in detail here, as they're used the same way the style tag is, allowing you to enter JavaScript code directly into an HTML document, or enter what sort of message should be displayed if someone is using a browser that has JavaScript disabled. This is a bit beyond the scope of these videos, as JavaScript is a proper programming language that I personally don't know much about, since I'm a little babby when it comes to coding languages like this, so we won't be using this at any point during these videos, but it is important to know that these exist. Base is a bit more complex and is mostly used to try and cut down on writing out long, complicated URLs. It lets you establish a base web address for every link on the page so that you don't have to put the base URL in every link tag. For example, if we made the base URL www.wikipedia.org/wiki, we would only have to write out the name of the article we wanted to link to every time we wrote out another link. I know it's a little bit confusing, but it will make a bit more sense when we cover links in HTML. I wouldn't worry about using this one too much until you get more comfortable just writing out actual links and start making more complex web pages with a lot of different branching paths. And finally, and most importantly, there's the meta tag. I saved this one for last because it's one that you'll want to use a lot because it has a lot of uses. You can have multiple meta tags, each one with their own information. After typing out meta, you write out the attribute you want it to have, like char set, which defines what sort of text characters can appear on the page. The UTF-8 standard is basically all you should put in this tag because it basically displays almost every known text character used in the world today and is so ubiquitous that most programs that let you write out code will include it as part of the basic boilerplate document format you can make by just typing an exclamation mark in a blank HTML document. Beyond that, the only other attribute that you'll want to use early on in learning how to build websites is the name attribute, which can be given a ton of values to specify, say, the author of the website, or keywords that you want search engines to use to find your site, or even how the web page should be displayed. The last one especially is important when you want your site to look good on mobile devices as well as desktops and laptops. We'll get a bit more into responsive design later on, as it can get a bit more complex, but for now, the examples I've shown on screen are the most common, basic forms of the meta tag you'll find. It's stuff that you don't need to fill in right away, but you should definitely consider putting that together once you have a good grasp for your site and what sort of content it's going to have. And that's a basic rundown for the head tag. Believe me, I know this sounds complicated, but it's going to be a lot easier to understand as time goes on. You can always come back to this video down the line when you're ready to give it another go, and we'll revisit some of this later on when we get into more of the complicated things that you can do with the meta tag, especially responsive design. For now though, we're actually going to start getting into the nitty-gritty of HTML and start putting actual content on our page. So keep circulating the links, and I'll see you all next time.